Hey everyone and welcome to today's video. I'll be doing my e.l.f. Cosmetics Declutter with you today, so let's get into it. e.l.f. Cosmetics is a brand I purchased products for the longest time. Probably my first few makeup products were from e.l.f. when they were $1 a piece. And ever since then, I've really enjoyed their products. Now, there was a time when e.l.f. felt a little bit outdated for me, but a few years back, they really picked things up and started to come up with new amazing products. Now, some of these products have clearly expired. I will be throwing those away. Some products are still usable, but I won't use them. Those things I'm going to give to friends and family. Nothing that's still usable will be thrown away. As always in my declutters, I aim to keep things that I truly do use and not declutter things just for decluttering's sake. So if I know I'll get some use out of something and it's still usable, I'm keeping it. If I know I won't use it, it's gotta go. Either it's expired or someone else will love it. So let's see what I got. So these are all the e.l.f. products in my collection currently. I may be missing a couple, but all of them that I could find right now are here. There are 47 items here, which is way too much for any single person to have from one brand. Now I'm going to start with saying I'm keeping all of my e.l.f. brushes. They're amazing. I'm not even going to count these in this declutter. These are obviously things that don't go bad. I'm going to use them. I have a couple here. This is the Putty Primer Applicator. I found this really useful. And then I have a Putty Bronzer brush and a Putty Blush brush that I haven't used yet, and I know I love them. The brushes that come in this black style are usually better than the white ones, but I have a bunch of those original white brushes as well. I'm not letting go of any of them unless they break. They're so good. I'm also going to keep this Line and Define eye tape. I have another one of these somewhere. I just couldn't find it. This is what I use when I create my fantasy looks or different looks. If I create for a brand, I usually use this to kind of create a more sharp wing effect with my eyeshadow. I think they work great. I cut them in the middle and make two pieces. I'm also going to keep all of my e.l.f. Instant Lift brow pencils. I have them in neutral brown and taupe. Neutral brown is probably my favorite currently, but taupe works for me as well. They're amazing. I've repurchased countless times and I will keep on repurchasing. They're about $3 and one of the best eyebrow pencils out there if you like this kind of soft, creamy eyebrow pencil. Then I'm also going to keep majority of my little bite-sized eyeshadow palettes. These were super popular once upon a time. I think they're still totally worth the $3 or $4. This one is one of my favorites in the shade Truffles. It's kind of like a cool tone one. Then I have two of their Mint Melt collection. These are really nice too. I think this one in the shade Mint to Be was more unique. However, this kind of pale green shade was no good. But I still want to keep it for these shimmers. They're absolutely beautiful. This one was better. It's the chocolate mints and it's really nice. I also love this one, Rose Water, one of my favorites. Another one that I use all the time, it stays on my vanity, is the I Love You a Latte. And this is a fully matte palette. It works with any sort of shimmer shades I have. The mattes are absolutely stunning. I also really enjoy this one. It's called Berry Bad. I use it a little bit less, but I still use it. I'm keeping it. Also, these two. This one is a Pumpkin Pie, a little bit warmer tones, but really beautiful. Still not like anything drastic. These are still your neutrals, really beautiful. And then this one is less neutral. This one is their Hot Jalapeno. I absolutely love these two green shades. They are just so good. The shimmers tend to be better than the mattes, except for this all matte palette. The mattes are definitely beautiful there. This one was really popular. It is called the Cream and Sugar Perfect Neutral Palette. A lot of people love that. And then this one has to go. This is their bite-sized eyeshadow in Orange Dreamsicle. This is the only dud I have tried in their bite-sized line. It is just absolutely no good. I see no color coming from this whatever looks I create, they all look the same. And this is the swatches. I think you can barely see them. The mattes are patchy, the shimmers are non-existent. This one has to go. Another product I know has to go is this illuminating moisturizer. This is SPF 50, which I thought was kind of useless. That is such a low SPF, it's really not worth it. I'm gonna let go of it. Plus, it has expired. I just noticed. I didn't use it. I didn't think it was anything special. I wouldn't repurchase. But then another one that I am letting go of is this e.l.f. Sheer Slick lipstick in the shade Grapefruit. And I actually do really like this formula. I think I'm gonna look for another shade though, because this one in the shade Grapefruit just doesn't look right on me. I don't know if you can see that there. It's just too candy pink, and it's not in the flattering way, because sometimes candy pinks can look really pretty. This one doesn't. I will see if a friend would like this. I know lip products are really hard to recycle to your friends, but maybe if we cut a little bit of the top, they would like to use it. But it's leaving my collection. Another thing that's leaving my collection is this one. This was e.l.f.'s collab with Alyssa Ashley, if I remember correctly. This is their Heart Defense. It's sort of a highlight duo, coffee and cream. It looks really pretty, however, it is about 5 years old, I think, at this point. So it really has to go. The shades don't look like much either. I tried swatching them, but I really couldn't get anything out. I think it's just so old, it's gone bad. I'm gonna throw this part away, but I'm keeping the mirror. I've been repurposing these mirrors as my travel mirrors, so I'm keeping that. But once upon a time, this was really nice, and this packaging feels really luxe. I'm also letting go of this one. This is e.l.f.'s Clay Eyeshadow Palette in Smoke to Perfection. And this one is just so old. I think the shades have also expired. This is one of e.l.f.'s OG formulas. It's a little bit dry. I couldn't get much out of it, and what I did was really patchy. So I believe it's gone bad. It has to go, but I remember these being really nice back in the day. They were not very expensive, and you can get really nice color stories. More of a neutral, and this one's perfect for a smoky eye. But yes, it's too old, it has to go. I think I'm also letting go of these two tiny eyeshadow duos. This one is in the shade T for Two, and then I have this one in Peach Squad. And these were really pretty, and they survived my last declutter, but I didn't use them, not once. And it's been a few years since that declutter, so they have to go. I tried swatching that Peach Squad and it felt really dry, and so does this one. So I think they're just expired. I'm not gonna give them to anyone either, just because they are so old. But they used to be really nice, and I really like the fact that you would get two colors. You could create on-the-go looks with these. I often wish this shade was a little bit deeper, but other than that, these were really nice, but now they have to go. Here's a product from their Mint Melt collection that I haven't gotten much use out of. This is their No Budge eyeshadow, and this is in the shade Mint For You. I swatched it there. I think it's still okay. I'm gonna put it on my vanity so I'll get more use out of it. I think I just haven't really created these mint looks. They were all the rage a while back, which is probably why I purchased this with this collection. And I've heard good things about these No Budge eyeshadow sticks. I just haven't used this enough to say, so I'm gonna keep it and try to get some more use out of it. Then I see some really old e.l.f. products that have to go. This one is their illuminating palette, and really this was such a beautiful palette once upon a time. It actually seems like it's swatched okay, so I'm gonna see if a friend would like it. I know I won't use it. I'm not into these powdery highlights that much anymore. In fact, I usually just put on a glowy blush, so I'm gonna let go of it. But it was a really nice value once upon a time. I also have a couple of these duos. The first one is in Bronzed Violet, and this is really striking. I don't know what I was thinking about when I got it. It clearly isn't meant for my skin tone. It's swatched great, so I think I'm gonna see if a friend would like it. This formula is really nice. It felt kind of squishy even, so really it does look like it's still performing well, so I'm gonna see if someone else would like it. This one is in the shade St. Lucia, and this one's even older. I couldn't get much out of it. I think it's dried, so I'm gonna let go of it. But this was one of those palettes that were of excellent value once upon a time. I really liked that bronzer, highlighter a little bit less. It was a little deep for me, but I remember really enjoying it, but now it has to go. I also see this tiny highlighter. This is their big highlighter. This is in shade Apricot Glow. This one I'm no longer using either, but it is going into my memory box collection. I used to really like it, so I'm gonna put it in there, but really I'm letting go of it from my active collection. There are two relatively old blushes here as well. I have this in the shade Tickled Pink. Not much came out of Tickled Pink, so it's probably expired. And then I have Mellow Mauve. Even less came out of these. So these are really old, but I used to really love both of these shades. They were your perfect everyday blushes. They've just gone old and have to go. I have some newer blushes here that I'm keeping all of them. This one is really beautiful, Brilliant Mauve. It's one of their shimmery blushes. It's stunning. I am also keeping these two blushes here. These are primer infused blushes in the shade Always Punchy. That's really beautiful pink. And then I have Always Silly, another beautiful pinky tone. This one's slightly deeper, maybe like a dusty rose shade. I like these all. I'm keeping them. This formula is really good for all three. I'm also keeping the newer bronzer. This one is in the shade Perpetually Tan. Don't escape me. Oh, can you hear the thunder? I hope not. This is a really beautiful bronzer. I'm gonna get some more use out of it and keep it. It is slightly on the orange side. I wish it was slightly more cool toned, but I'll make it work. This one is the last one of my shimmer highlighting powders that I kept, and it has dried up. I couldn't get much out of it. I kept the one in the shade Rose Glow. It seemed so beautiful. Once upon a time, these were rather creamy feeling, like kind of like almost cream to powderish, but right now it's just gone bad and has to go. But really, I did enjoy this. I think I'm gonna also repurpose the mirror on this one. And then I have one more face product here. This is their Bite Size Face Duo in Pomegranate. I am keeping this. I've gotten a lot of use out of it. I've been using this as a blush, and this is a blush topper. It's clearly too dark for me as a highlighter, but it is absolutely beautiful as a blush topper. I want to get more of these face duos. This one was really high quality. Then I have a couple of the putty primers. This one is the original Poreless Putty Primer. I'm keeping this. This is really nice. I really do enjoy it. I had to take a short break in filming. It was just hailing so loud that you probably could not have heard me talking, but I'm back now. And here are the items that are left. Here is my Halo Glow Setting Powder. And I don't remember if this one has a shade. I don't have one on the bottom at least. But it is a really beautiful loose powder. They have these in different shades. I know the pink shade has been super popular. This one's not it. I think this one was just the regular shade or something. But it is really nice, and I do want to keep it. It does have this very finely milled texture, and it just looks perfect on my skin. So I'm keeping that. I'm also keeping the other putty primer that I don't think I've even used. This is Elf and Dunkin' Donuts collection, and while this collection had some questionable products, this one was just the cutest. It is their Donut Forget Putty Primer. And I don't smell any donuts on this, even though I think some people said that it might have a donut scent. It does not. It's just your regular putty primer, maybe like a slight sweet scent. Either way, I do like the putty primer. I'm keeping this one. Then I have the illuminating eye cream that I have not even opened. I'm gonna see if this is still good, and then I'm gonna give this to my husband. I think he will like this. I've heard good things about it. I just have several eye creams open. I don't need another one, and I'm not entirely sure how old this is either. So I'll give this to him and he can give it a try. Next up, let's take a look at these. I'll swatch them. If you remember Stila's Glittering Glows, these are sort of e.l.f. counterpart for that. Can't seem to find the shade names on all of these. This one doesn't have a shade. This one is 24 karat gold. Then I have mermaid shimmy, and the last one's not a glitter and glow, it's like a metal glow. This is aurora, and this is really beautiful as well. Trying to find the shade on this last one, but really cannot find it. The only thing I found that it says is not for the use in the immediate eye area, which you know is where I've used this. But this one is my original one, and this 24 karat gold I got later, and these are pretty new to me. I did really like both of them. I figured I'd use them, you know, together, and that metallic one is really beautiful shade of green, and then the green glitter. So I'm gonna hold on to these both. I am going to let go of this one, the unnamed one. It looks really weird. I think it's really old too, so I'm gonna let go of that. I'm gonna keep the 24 karat gold. It does look still like it's going to be okay. Maybe I'll have to test it out and see. It also looks a little weird, but I don't think it's that old, so I'll hold on to that. Now that I swatched this, I definitely need to declutter my liquid eyeshadows sooner than later. I know those go bad really quickly, so I probably have several that have expired. But this one's still usable. I'm holding on to it. It is e.l.f.'s Flawless Brightening Concealer. This is a really handy one if you have inner corner darkness. That's how I use this. You just paint it on your inner corner, you press here for some more product, and it works like a charm. Really beautiful concealer. Then I have 3 lipsticks here, and let me swatch these as well. So I have these Seriously Satin lipsticks in the shade Raspberry, and then I have Cider, and the last one is called Nectar. And here are the swatches in that order. Now this is a very creamy lipstick formula, but it can be a little bit drying, which is why I haven't used these as much. But they still seem fine, so I'm gonna hold on to them. I do think I'll get some use out of them, even though they're not my everyday lipsticks. But for some reason, I really do enjoy this kind of see-through packaging. It just looks cute. I'm also going to keep the Earth and Ocean palette. This is not too old in my collection either. I got it relatively recently. It's got these beautiful tones. I especially like this side. I'm not the biggest fan of this blue side, probably because I don't use those tones as often, but I love the greens. I love those Gold Rush and all those beautiful shimmers. This rock bottom shade has been my one and done eyeshadow several times, so all in all, this is a really good palette. Really great quality from e.l.f. And the last one I have is their Halo Glow Liquid Filter Glow Booster for Radiant Skin. Probably all of you have heard about it. This is e.l.f.'s sort of dupe for Charlotte Tilbury's Flawless Filter, and I would say it's sort of a dupe because it's not the same. Charlotte Tilbury is way more glowy. This is more muted. And I also feel like this has a little bit of coverage, which I don't think the Charlotte Tilbury had. Now, I do think the Sheer Fair, which I think is the lightest shade, can still be a little bit too deep for some. But I do think it's a beautiful product. It's totally worth the price. If you haven't tried it and you like kind of these glowy products, definitely give this one a try. I'm going to hold on to it. The e.l.f. Cosmetics products that I currently own, give or take a few that I could not locate. I managed to declutter some, but clearly not enough because I started with 47 products. I am keeping 33 and decluttering 14. I would call this a declutter fail, but also I don't want to declutter for declutter's sake. So I am going to keep all of these products because I know I'll get some use out of them, or I know someone else in my family will get some use out of these. These are mostly expired with the exception of a few products. This just is a bad product. Do not get the orange creamsicle shade. It's just not good. And this one I could see myself purchasing this sheer slick in a different shade. This one just isn't working for me. And I also don't think this illuminating moisturizer is worth the money, even though it is inexpensive. The SPF is non-existent and that one has gone bad. The rest are tried and true products. They're just so old, I'm gonna have to let go of them. These are all great products, keeping all my brushes, and then, you know, some of my all-time favorites, like these brow pencils are here. Do you have a sizable e.l.f. Cosmetics collection like me? Do you have any e.l.f. Cosmetics favorites that you'd like to share that I didn't mention today? Or any products from e.l.f. that we should avoid? Let us know in the comment section. I'd love to hear e.l.f. favorites and fails. But this was my e.l.f. collection declutter. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these kind of declutter videos and want to see more of their kind, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. And if you have not yet subscribed, I hope you subscribe. But thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video.